Can the Justice League beat LEGO Batman 2 DC superheroes without the titular character of Batman? You'd really think so, right? Especially with aliens and metahumans and Ryan Reynolds wearing superpower jewelry filling their ranks. But alas, the answer is sadly no. But we're gonna try anyway. Hey guys, and welcome back to Plasmatic Productions. My name is Plasmatic, and today we're going to try to progress through the 15 story levels of LEGO Batman 2 without using Batman or, well, any member of his family. So that means no Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, any of those folks. Instead, we shall be limited to the other characters of the Justice League, which is honestly mostly going to be Superman, but without further ado, let's jump into this. As Superman, we jump right into the first level where the escaped villains of Arkham Asylum have taken over the Harborside Theater. Starting with Harley Quinn, we use our heat vision to quickly take her down and turn our sights over to the Riddler. And right here, the challenge comes to an end, or at least it counts as our first use of Batman. This camera here can't be bypassed by anyone other than Batman in his sensor suit. Even though Martian Manhunter really should have the ability to go invisible, he doesn't have that ability until the next game. After bypassing the cameras, I thought I was in the clear, but we almost instantly came across these grappling hooks that could only be used by Bat people. I tried using Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth, but alas, she can't target these kinds of grapple hooks. I used Nightwing and Batgirl instead of Batman and Robin just for the hell of it, but I'm going to count these as one Batman use and one Robin use. We come across this X-ray vision wall that the Riddler's hiding behind. Typically, you're supposed to use Batman's sensor suit here, but fortunately, Superman also covers this ability. We take down the Riddler and head up to this foyer, which has been taken over by Two-Face. Unfortunately, there's another set of cameras right here, which require another Batman swap to use the sensor suit. The challenge is hardest here in the early game, where the game relies more on Batman and Robin and doesn't expect you to have any more abilities because, well, unfortunately, we have to use Robin's Acrobat suit's ability to turn into a giant ball to control this socket in order to lower Two-Face to the ground. We make it all the way to the Joker in the projector room and quickly take him down with Superman and the Flash. Unfortunately, the Joker has escaped onto his speedboat, and we have to repair Robin's helicopter in order for us to pursue him. Normally, this is a really long section where we have to climb all the way up these towers to grab these pieces, but fortunately, Superman can fly. He uses his super strength to pull this orange handle to get the pieces to fall down to the ground. The next pieces we need are locked behind this blue magnetic mechanism, but we can use Cyborg to access it. We rebuild the helicopter and head on our way. The next part of the level has us stuck in vehicles, and, for future reference, every vehicle level in this game will force us to use Batman. Well, except for one later, but we'll get to that. So anyway, I'm just going to count this whole section as one Batman use. The third section has us going up against the Joker in his crashed boat, but in order to do anything to him, we have to switch to Batman and use his power suit in order to destroy this silver Lego object. But unfortunately, we can switch back to Superman in order to use this super strength orange handle. The Joker switches to using electric pies, and we can skip this silver Lego object and this magnetic wall by just flying up to the top of Superman and using Cyborg to release these swinging signs onto the Joker. Unfortunately, we have to use Batman's power suit one last time in order to help destroy the giant Dodgem, but Superman quickly finishes the level. Unfortunately, the villains at Arkham Asylum are running rampant again, because of course they are, and most of them has split up onto vehicles that are running through this maze. Starting off, we have Catwoman on her motorcycle. Unfortunately, we have to use Batman's power suit in order to destroy this silver statue, which creates enough of an obstacle for her to crash. Suddenly, Two-Face's truck shows up, with the Riddler and Harley Quinn in tow. In order to get rid of them, we use Black Canary here to shatter this glass, bypassing a long bit of puzzles we normally have to complete in order to gain access to Batman's Bat suit, two separate words, which is normally how we'd gain the sonar ability. Not long after, Bane shows up in his mole machine with Penguin and Poison Ivy. Unfortunately, we have to don Batman's power suit to blow up this statue, but we can freeze the water with Superman to stop the trio, and end the level with only 2 Batman uses in this one. We then make our way into the asylum to return the other freed villains to their cells. We switch to Aquaman in order to access Batman's electricity suit. Now, why aren't I just switching to Superman and flying all the way to the end of the level room, I hear you asking, dear viewer? Hang with me for a moment and I'll explain when we get there. I'm going to have to count everything that you specifically need Batman's electricity suit to do in this level as one use. So, here we go. First, we need him to cross this electrified floor, because if we were just to fly over it, we wouldn't be able to go back and get Batman's suit for everything else in the level. The second count is the fact that we need him to turn off this switch so Aquaman can get through below. And then we need him to hit this switch to turn off this spinning fan. Then we need him to turn this one on in order to feed a turkey to Killer Croc so he moves into the land part of his cell. I'm just glad he didn't get freed. Now, we get to watch Aquaman's dumb idle animation of just opening and closing his mouth. Then we use him to fill up this water switch. We use Superman to freeze all of this free-flowing water they've just got floating around the asylum, then jump across it with Batman. We make it to Mr. Freeze's cell, and once more, thank God they didn't release him, because his boss fight in LEGO Batman 1 was brutal. Okay, over here. Now this is why we had to bring Batman's electricity suit all the way over from the start of the level. This elevator here is the exit, and no one else can power it up, not even Shazam. Shazam's inability to do any of the electric stuff is going to be a recurring problem throughout the challenge. Anyway, we use Batman to activate the elevator, and we head on to the next room. Fortunately, this is the first sensor in the game that we can bypass by flying. So we fly down this hallway, into the X-ray machine, then across this entire puzzle section, making it to the double doors. Superman's X-ray vision comes in handy again, and we fly all the way past the Scarecrow fight. Oh wait, what was that? I guess we can't fly past the fight, so we just quickly do it instead. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to skip it, because all these green vertigo effects kind of give me a headache. Anyway, with that, we finish the level. The next stop on our journey is Ace Chemicals, which has a much better design than the one in LEGO Batman 1, though in return, this level is typically at least a full hour long. It still ended up taking me 23 minutes to beat in its entirety, even with flying through a lot of the first room. Unfortunately, we have to use Batman to analyze these chemicals in these two spots. In order to access the third one, we use Aquaman to help drain this pipe and switch back to Batman to analyze the chemicals. The chemical plant starts to explode, sending us into the next section of the level, which we can almost entirely skip if not for this last part. Unfortunately, we need Batman's electricity suit again, but fortunately, there's a suit panel not far from the end. We use him to grapple, turn off this switch, then turn on the final one, sending us to the penultimate section of the level. Just to scout ahead, we looked to see what we'd need to access the last section, and unfortunately, it needed Batman's electricity suit. We did some things to help clear the path for later, in doing so finding a funny glitch where if you switch to Batman from Superman while you're flying and being electrocuted, Batman will get stuck in this pose. Anyway, we reluctantly went all the way back to the start of the section to pick up the electricity suit. We used Wonder Woman and Superman to help make a section where Batman could climb up, but Batman had to switch into the power suit in order to blow up these bars, so Robin could get the hazard suit. Man, it's been a while since we've had to use Robin for anything. We use Robin to squirt all this goo into these receptacles, creating the steps for Batman in his electricity suit to follow. Fortunately, he doesn't actually have to do anything until that final switch, getting us up to the roof of the building. Alright, this is the fourth and final section of the Ace Chemicals level. Sorry this is going on for so long, but I wasn't real happy about it either. And guess what? Say it with me now. We have to use Batman's electricity suit to turn off a switch. This time it's so that he can go back across and get the power suit, which he needs to blow up these silver Lego objects here. But at least that releases us from this hell of a level, which added 10 Batman uses and 1 Robin use to the counter. To start off the next section, we have a vehicle mission, which adds 1 Batman use to the counter. Once we break our way inside of Lex Luthor's Juggernaut truck. Nope, Lex Luthor's Juggernaut truck. Yeah, I'll leave that in the video. We use Cyborg to control whatever sort of magnetic ball we need through the floor. We then use him to climb up to the next level. We can also bypass the sensor by just flying right up to the roof and fly right to the front of the truck, using Black Canary to break open this glass, then using Cyborg again to magnetically activate this terminal, calling in the Batwing to break open the side of the truck. Cyborg, Black Canary, and Superman all help pull the levers in the final room, letting us steal whatever synthetic kryptonite Luthor and the Joker are making. Unfortunately, that synthetic kryptonite was a tracker, which Lex and the Joker used to make their way into the Batcave. Superman uses the Bat-Cycle and Batwing to shoot at the devilish duo, but Green Lantern decides he wants to be the one to use the Bat-Boat. In the next section of the level, Lantern flies all the way up through this puzzle, but we quickly switch to Batman and use the power suit in order to blast through the back door, use X-ray vision on the mechanism, and enter the back room. Instead of probably racking up more uses of Batman, I kind of did a cop-out here and I used the Penguin in order to blow up the last door, which is why I have 3 categories to tally up points, those being Batman uses, Robin uses, and other character uses. Anyway, the next level sends us into another vehicle level, but this one we can entirely complete with Superman, so we avoid adding Batman to the counter. Superman and Wonder Woman destroy the conduits powering this laser gate, and the duo also take down this VTOL inside and move on to the next room. Unfortunately, the next room is filled with kryptonite, so we switch to Martian Manhunter to serve as our Superman replacement for the next chunk of the level. We use Superman to put out these fires and to fly up to the roof, then Black Canary to shatter this glass, ending the level without a single Batman use. Fair warning, this is the only level in the entire challenge that lets us progress without using Batman, Robin, or anyone besides the Justice League. Unfortunately, the next level sees us traveling to Metropolis, and getting into a fight with an evil receptionist made of silver Lego objects, making it so that she can only be damaged by Batman in his power suit, adding 3 uses to the counter. We also have to use him to access the door to the elevator. On the next floor, we scout ahead, but we hit an invisible wall here by these kryptonite vents that none of the characters can seem to cross. So we have to go back to get Batman's electricity suit to turn off this switch, give power to this one, go get the power suit, blow up this door, and send a bomb to turn off the kryptonite vents. We come across a guy who's waving kryptonite in our face, so we switch to Wonder Woman to not only beat him up, but also use her lasso to grapple down this part of the wall. She beats up 2 more kryptonite wavers and onto a room with a sensor. We have to use Batman's sensor suit 3 times to pull this switch in order for us to move on to the next room, unfortunately. The next section is filled with kryptonite bubbles, so we grab Martian Manhunter and we fly over every single one of these puzzle sections and laser this door to bypass the entire room. Now that was so incredibly satisfying. We end up in a robot fight, after which we use Black Canary and Supergirl to finish the level, with, 10 Batman uses. We end up chasing after the Joker's robot in another vehicle level, but we have to use Batman to destroy these silver objects, but I'm just going to count it as 1 use. We land on the back of the robot and use Wonder Woman to take out this VTOL. Unfortunately, we have to use Batman's power suit to destroy these vents. Twice, I'm afraid. But with Superman, we finish things off strong. We end up in the subway system and use Shazam to clear all this debris. Superman blows out these fires, but we have to switch to Batman to access this electricity terminal, though we have to go back and get the electricity suit, draining energy from this switch and depositing it over here. We have to use the power suit then to clear the silver debris and enter the next station. Superman clears out this train and flies down the tunnel, doing the same down here to get to the next section. Superman handles the room as he's meant to and makes it onto the moving train. Superman and Wonder Woman make it almost all the way to the end, but once more, say it with me, we need Batman's electricity suit to power up a switch, adding 2 more uses to the counter for him to draw and then redistribute the power, getting us to the end of the level. We interrupt Lex Luthor's presidential campaign rally and try to go up to stand on these buttons, but the AI partner won't stay up there long enough, so we have to backtrack, but not by much, as once we use super strength to knock down this tower and use the lasso to pull open this ladder, we're able to stand on the buttons, laser the robot's flower, and get teleported into the next section after just a few minutes in this one. In the next bit, we use Black Canary to get the parts we need to build this ramp. But before we can do anything up there, we have to take control of this helicopter, unfortunately requiring a switch to a Bat family member in order to use this grapple. I used Nightwing here, but this should count as a Batman use. Unfortunately, we also have to use him again to power up this searchlight, but fortunately, Superman ends the level with a super strength handle. But in this quick 4.5 minute long vehicle level, we have to add 1 Batman use to the counter, but otherwise there's nothing else of note. So we can move on to level 14, with this being the first level that we were given the Justice League in the actual game. The level doesn't play very much differently, but there's still some shortcuts we can take. Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern get us most of the way, but we do need Batman to use the power suit to destroy this wall. We come across this ice switch, but instead of going all the way back down to grab Robin's ice suit, we just use Captain Cold to hit it, adding 1 to the other character uses counter. In the next section, we have to use Robin's ice suit to hit this switch to unlock this electricity suit pad for Batman. We draw the power from this switch and deliver it up top, giving Green Lantern the pieces he needs to stop the fan. We go through to access the roof. We realize that we need to get Batman's electricity suit over to the left side of the map, so we use Aquaman to clear up all the toxic goo in place of Robin's hazard suit. Batman draws from this switch and deposits it here to progress things into the next phase of the fight, which Green Lantern ends pretty quickly, knocking him off the building. During this free-falling fight section, Martian Manhunter takes out the Joker, which sends us right into the final level. This level was also built around the Justice League's presence, so we play the level pretty much unchanged. We have to use Batman's electricity suit to, say it with me now, power down a switch. We need Robin's acrobat suit to swing around this pole, helping Green Lantern force the Joker to emerge from the robot. Just to change things up, I play the fight as Hawkgirl and Green Lantern, finally knocking him down for good. I feel like I just did this in LEGO Batman 1. Whatever. It's time to fight Lex Luthor in his power armor. We have to use Robin's acrobat suit one last time in order to control the Watchtower's laser beam, taking down Lex. But of course, the challenge wouldn't be complete without one more forced switch to Batman. The very final button prompt is this one switch that fittingly won't let anyone press it but Batman, so we add one final Batman use to the counter as we finish the game. Overall, we failed the challenge 60 times. 2 times fell under other character uses, we had 6 Robin uses, and 52 Batman uses. The leading cause of Batman uses was a 2-way tie between the electricity suit and the power suit, each causing 17 uses. The level that required the most Batman uses is a 2-way tie between the Ace Chemicals level and the LexCorp Metropolis level, though the Ace Chemicals level has an edge on the Metropolis one because it also forced 1 Robin use. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Let me know what you think about this sort of different style of video, as it's something I've been wanting to give a shot for a little while now. Let me know if I should be changing up the way I do the commentary, if I should be making it more of a narrative based off the in-game stuff, be adding more stuff from my own life, which has its interesting quirks. But yeah, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.